Well, hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in central Nebraska, where a plea agreement has been reached in the case of a Gordon teen accused of murdering her newborn baby. 17-year-old Chloe Coplin Anderson has agreed to plead no contest to second-degree murder. In exchange, a first-degree murder charge, as well as a child abuse and felony weapon count, will be dropped. According to court documents, when Gordon police arrived at Coplin Anderson's home last fall for a report of an infant who wasn't breathing, they say they found a baby that had been stabbed several times. Second-degree murder punishable by a minimum of 20 years up to life in prison. Attorney General Mike Hilger is challenging the Biden administration over what he says is an unlawful voter registration scheme. Hilger is part of a coalition of 9 attorneys general who say the administration's plan to repurpose federal tax dollars for voter registration is unlawful. The issue in question comes from an executive order by President Biden 3 years ago. That order allows federal agencies to hold voter registration activities with money handed out by Congress. Hilger argues that plan violates the Constitution. He says it also threatens states' attempts to regulate voter registration and undermines the voter registration system set up by the states. The lawsuit's asking a Kansas court to declare the executive order unconstitutional. Now, it's clear that this year's presidential candidates see Nebraska's 2nd district as in play. Both vice presidential candidates are coming to Omaha soon. Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, set to visit Nebraska's so-called Blue Dot this weekend for a campaign event. The Minnesota governor recently announced his Harris's running mate will be in Omaha Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. The Nebraska native, born in West Point, raised in Valentine, attended Chadron State College before working as a public school teacher and administrator in Alliance. His campaign has highlighted those Nebraska roots. There was the recent 90-second ad that featured his teaching experiences and the values he says he learned from small-town life. Walz also shared personal connections to Nebraska, including a photo of his family and interactions with high school friends. Meanwhile, Nebraska GOP Chairman Eric Underwood confirmed that Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, the U.S. Senator from Ohio, will attend a fundraiser hosted by Republican Senator Pete Ricketts and his family next Wednesday. This visit aims to address Nebraska's challenging Blue Dot for Republicans in general elections. That 2nd district went for Biden in 2020. Nebraska's other 2 districts went for former President Trump. Nebraska and Maine, the only 2 states that split their electoral votes by congressional district. 2 reports out Thursday show perhaps signs of an improving economy. Initial jobless claims fell last week for the 2nd week in a row. According to the Labor Department, there were an estimated 227,000 new claims for unemployment insurance. That's 7,000 fewer than the previous week. Despite trending higher in recent months, weekly claims remain below historical averages. First-time claims in Nebraska were virtually unchanged from last week, while continuing claims continued their downward trend. Meanwhile, retail sales suddenly booming across the U.S. Thursday, the Department of Commerce said sales at U.S. retailers surged unexpectedly last month. They rose by a solid 1% from the month before. That exceeded economists' expectations of a 0.3% gain. Retail sales make up a sizable chunk of overall spending. July's reading a boon for the U.S. economy because the country's economic growth hinges on Americans spending their dollars. Well, the new options available to support Nebraskans with disabilities. The state has launched a crowdfunding site for donating to people who use the Enable Savings Plan. It's a resource that allows people with disabilities to make investments and build savings for their future. The Give to Enable website allows people in the program to raise money that goes directly into their account, and it doesn't impact the user's benefits like other crowdfunding pages like GoFundMe or Kickstarter sometimes can. Well, it is back to school week, and for one central Nebraska district, that means celebrating the opening of an upgraded high school. Hastings St. Cecilia cut the ribbon on its renovated high school building Wednesday morning. The high school had been closed for the past 2 school years to renovate and upgrade classrooms, as well as its HVAC system and build a new chapel. Previously, the school had been relying on window air units to supply heating and cooling to the whole building. The middle and high school students had to cram into the same half of the building for 2 years, and district officials say the extra space for all students and staff will make everyone's lives a little easier this year.
We had students in one wing, all 6 through 12, very crowded. We had to extend a little bit of passing periods for a middle school just so they wouldn't get run over by the high school students. It's great to have the full building open and having all this capacity.
The total cost of the project was $13 million, $11 million of that raised through donations from the Hastings community. Rowan says the school will let their completed project settle in before they consider their next potential improvements. First day school is exciting for kids. It can also create new traffic headaches, though, particularly in neighborhoods that haven't had schools nearby before. Jake Bartecki has more.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of going back to school. For parents and children alike, there's a mix of uncertainty and excitement. Throw in a brand new building that blends a collection of schools that have been around for decades, and that multiplies. Add some street closures to it, and it gets even more uncertain. Because of this, Beatrice police are on site of the new Beatrice Elementary School for the first 2 days of its opening.
Obviously, they're still working on Lincoln Street, and so traffic's going to be kind of a mess right in here off of 33rd. So they just asked for one of us to come out and kind of help direct traffic. BPD Chief Jay Murphy spent Thursday morning near the school's east entrance, directing cars in and out of the area on 33rd Street. Lincoln Street remains closed in the area of Christ Community Church, east to 33rd. Murphy says helping direct traffic is good for the community to know the department is around, but it also saves them time in the event something goes wrong. If we have an accident, we're out here anyway working it, so it's great for us to come out and show the parents and the kids that we're involved and where they need to go. Like I said, it's the first day, so it's kind of a learning process.
And Murphy says with that learning process, safety is first and foremost.
Be courteous, yield to the vehicles. Like I said, it's going to be congested right here, so be kind to your neighbor, let people in and out, and just watch what you're doing.
In Beatrice, Jake Bartecki, News Channel, Nebraska.
Like Jake mentioned, it's a new era in public education in Beatrice starting Thursday, the first full day of kindergarten through 5th grade at a new school on the city's east side. Pre-K classes get underway next week. Doug Kennedy gives us a look.
A public open house and dedication event was held Wednesday night where Superintendent Jason Alexander said the project was the result of a team effort and community support.
Today we celebrate a new beginning. We celebrate a new beginning here in Beatrice, a new era of education for our kids. Along with the latest technology, this building has resources that were sorely lacking or altogether absent in our older buildings, including an innovation center, an art room, a music room, a gymnasium, and most importantly, a kitchen and a cafeteria to serve fresh, hearty, healthy meals to our students every day that many of them so desperately need.
The new facility replaces 4 separate elementary buildings constructed in the 1950s, and it was the result of a public agency financing effort between the school district, ESU number 5, and a local bank.
2 weeks ago, we opened up the building for staff to come prepare their classrooms. And the expressions on their face were priceless, classic. On Monday and Tuesday of this week, we opened up the building for sneak peek nights for different grade levels. And again, rave reviews and smiles on the kids' faces were unbelievable. The expression of the students and parents were just beautiful to see, and so much excitement. The school board should be proud, knowing that their vision of keeping kids first has happened.
Doris Martin of the Beatrice Educational Foundation and Beatrice School Board says that since opening for public tours, interest in donating to the school has grown with small and large contributions. The fundraising drive has since topped $900,000. The new facility was designed by BCDM Architects. The main contractor was Hausman Construction. A ribbon cutting was held outside the south main entrance to the school. While classes get in full swing Thursday, street improvements continue on Lincoln Street at the north edge of the property and at 33rd and Lincoln. From Beatrice, Doug Kennedy, News Channel, Nebraska.
And one of the rooms in that new elementary school is named in honor of a former Beatrice student and professional artist, Grant Searcy, who passed away in 2018 at the age of 42. Doris Martin of the Beatrice Educational Foundation said the support for the art room is a great tribute. One of Searcy's works adorns the wall of the new room at the elementary facility. A generous gift from a local family, along with money raised by the class of 1994, made the room possible, along with a special cabinet where art materials can be stored. Searcy was a member of the class of 94. They raised over $5,000 to fund the cabinet to be used by students and their teacher, Cheyenne Pinion, and to help fund an Artist in Residence program. Class of 94 recently held their 30th class reunion. Grant Searcy was the son of John and Anita Searcy. And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.